I put myself between the charging ogre and our wizard, and raised my shield to deflect his blow.
Alright, sounds like defy danger to me. Roll plus strength.
Well, that's a 4.
Good news, mark XP. Bad news, the heavy blow tosses you about 20 feet into a pile of what looks like vines. As you land, the vines begin to move around you.
Oh, wait, what? I want to discern realities. Okay, got an 8. That means one question, right? What's about to happen?
As the tendrils begin to make noise and move closer to your friend, it becomes apparent he's about to listen to that D&D podcast. Hello, everybody. Thank you for downloading this latest episode of That D&D podcast. This is also going to be the first episode of a new season and a new campaign where we'll be playing Dungeon World. So what we're going to be doing for this episode is doing a brief explanation of what Dungeon World is and sort of how it's played. And then we're going to work out how the events of the end of the 4th edition campaign affect this campaign, and then after that we're going to make some characters and figure out how they all kind of fit together. So before we do that, why don't we go around our virtual table and introduce our real selves. My name is Chris, and once again I will be playing the GM.
Hi, everyone. I am Mike Jedarkson Berard, and tonight I will be explaining Dungeon World.
I am Robert Guscio. I will be learning about Dungeon World.
Hi, my name's Andrew. Tonight I will be possibly, hopefully making it Paladin, but I might fuck up and end with a fighter, who knows.
Hi, I'm David, and what is Dungeon World?
How does I mine for dungeons?
I'm really curious as to how you can start out with the Paladin and end up with the fighter. I want to see this happen.
You forget to circle Y/N for God.
Well, yeah, he forgets to he forgets to pray in the mornings a lot, so...
I used to at one time.
Draws a picture of a pretty sweet-looking dog, and then he gets dropped out of Paladin school.
Oh, man.
I am Renee, and I am hoping that all of these things don't break my computer.
They're gonna.
It's gonna be a fun ride.
And hi, I'm Adam, and I am just here.
Listening.
You're not dead under a robe anymore?
We're not actually recording Adam. He's actually just inside your room speaking as you're listening to this.
Do you think that's a microphone? That's actually his beard.
He's like Bayonetta. He can actually form it into usable objects.
I like this game.
Okay, so let's get into the swing of things. For a quick explanation of what Dungeon World is. So there's a game called Apocalypse World, and it takes place post-apocalypse. And instead of being more, I guess, combat-heavy, this is supposed to be more story-driven.
Tactical, the term that you're looking for. Instead of being more tactical, it's more story-driven.
Yeah, there you go. This one is a hack of that.
So we're not playing war games this time?
This is less war games and more story games.
So I'm not in charge of 13,000 people that are going to die? Well, 3,000 people, I mean.
Yet.
I could still make that happen, story-wise.
Yeah.
We should make that happen.
So, sure. Yes.
One of the big differences between this and a lot of the other role-playing games is this uses D6s for pretty much everything aside from damage. And instead of saying, okay, I use this power, basically you describe what you do, and then we figure out what move it sounds like you're using. There's a bunch of moves that every character has. There's some that are specific to that character. So a bard will have bardic lore that they can use to, you can consult that to see if you can get some info on the world and your surroundings. And then there's also some basic ones, like if you want to go up and cut a dude, that'd be hack and slash. Basically, you roll 2d6 plus your strength modifier. And instead of just having a pass or fail sort of setup, Dungeon World has varying degrees of success. So at the end of a roll, anything you roll, if it's 10 or more, it is a complete success. If it is between 7 and 9, it is a partial success. So you, what you were trying to do usually happens, but there could be a, what do you call it? Like a tough choice, or some unintended consequence will happen.
Some kind of cost to pay,
Yes.
I think, is what you're looking for.
And then if it is a 6 or below, it is pretty much a complete failure.
Complete failure.
And I get to pick what happens.
You can also offer things to the players, like, all right, well, this sort of thing. So the game's all about hard choices and rolling dice. The central conceit is it's 2d6 plus a modifier, and the modifiers tend to be fairly small. And all of our moves, everything that we're going to be doing is 2d6 plus a modifier. If you're familiar with Apocalypse World, Monster Hearts, Dungeon World, they all use the same central mechanic.
Adam and Bobby, can you all hear now?
No, I was saying I don't have a problem with your audio.
Oh,
I was
sorry,
disagreeing
okay.
with Bobby.
Right. Yeah, I can
When
hear
you
you
were
now.
saying not hearing it, I thought you meant you can't hear anything at all now.
I think that he was not hearing the not hearing.
Right. He was double
It's kind of
negative.
confusing, I suppose.
Double negative, that means that you have photographs?
Photographs of photographs.
Two photographs.
You've incepted yourself.
Every time I look, it makes me laugh.
Fucking get out. If you realize this is like a grim omen if you're quoting Nickelback songs, the first episode of a new season.
I like Nickelback. Said it. Not
You're
Not
a
unsaying
monster.
Mike,
Well,
does it hurt not having
I'm
a soul?
Canadian, so it's required partially by my contract.
It's really fucking not.
It totally
as a
is.
If you
Canadian.
don't know, if you don't have a soul, can you realize that you don't have a soul?
Does this unit
We're
have a soul?
allowed and in fact contractually obligated to hate Celine Dion, Justin Bieber, and all of Nickelback.
No. Nickelback's done some
No.
decent things.
Yeah, and the Beeb is pretty great.
Get out.
Get out.
Do I
God,
even
this is
know you anymore?
I hate.
All
No,
right, my new character's name is not. God, damn, what was Robert's characters from last game?
Koro.
Not Koro?
Koro.
You could be
It's
Noro.
Orok. O-R-O-K.
The K still has to be capitalized.
Yep. I mean,
You
that's
have-
kind of
you have
copyright,
to
so
make
it does have to be copyright.
obvious.
There you go. I'm now Orok.
Fuck you. Seriously, don't name your character that.
Okay.
My name is Negative
Too
Koro
right.
over 1, and I am a wizard.
My character's name is now Rook. It's totally not an anagram of Koro. It's about birds or something.
Urk.
Oh, 420. LOL, Legolas.
Sephiroth.
So the 4th edition campaign ended with you guys. Yes.
So, hang on.
Spoilers?
So, Bobby.
Fuck, Chris.
Or sorry, not Bobby. David.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about how to play Dungeon World? Would you like to see an example as we go?
We are different people.
I think an example as we go would be fine.
Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
seems quite reasonable.
I mean-
I told you this story to tell you this one.
Basically, if you guys want to know the super specifics of what happened, you can. I mean, we've got all that in a convenient audio form on this very podcast thing, so you can go listen to it.
Huh.
But I do have to touch on a few things.
Warning. Spoiler talk begins now. Seal the black doors and prepare for the end times.
Gazran, you became the new He Who Slumbers. Based on the summary you gave me, seems like the worshippers are kind of fractured. Some of them fled from the faith. Some of them kind of redoubled their efforts. Those who made pacts with you find their powers kind of got different.
So, yeah, the strongest or the most connected to the god at the time of his death, all died with him because they were basically drained in the battle and or just whiplash from psychic connections and all that. Those who didn't either fled in fear from all the exploding heads around them, or saw this as an opportunity to improve their status because they're probably
Climb the ladder.
they probably weren't the strongest in the first place, but now that there's nobody above them, well, hey, maybe there's a chance. And then in the intervening years, those who continued or came upon this cult still found the connection to the slumbering god available to them, but occasionally some of them are, I guess, touched. Sure. In a oddly positive way. So an evil force that they're looking for finds something good inside themselves, maybe have some sort of personal revelation, and And that's basically them, Gosrin reaching out to them, perhaps, or the essence of Gosrin, because he's not really Gosrin anymore, just sort of a primal force inside of him.
Okay, so one of the things I thought for the campaign, it's going to be roughly like 3,000 years after the events of the Wreckateer campaign. So I figured over time...
So we have automobiles?
So Koro is still in his teens?
What'd you say, Mike?
So we have automobiles?
You used to, and then the God Wars happened. No. Gosrin, one of the things I kind of thought of for you was, since you're sort of at war with yourself, you're not able to contain all of the magical energy inside. So while some of the worshippers, get some power, and while you still accumulate a lot of it, you sort of tend to leak God energy, and it kind of causes some of the other ones to take notice and try to find a way to tap into that energy to sort of boost their own standing.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, a lot of the gods, both good and evil, end up using you as sort of a wellspring of power, and a war brews not only to see which side will be supreme, but also to sort of try to take control of you. And I'm thinking that would probably cause maybe the first God war, and that's probably going to wipe out a few.
I can already guess what a couple of the powers sides are going to be.
I haven't figured that part out at all.
Oh well. I'm sure we can tell you.
So I saw for that war, I figured it'd probably be after maybe the first millennia or so. It's a huge battle that doesn't take place on any of the other realms. It takes place in the natural world. So, gods having this colossal battle. Some of the followers dying, but this one's mostly between the deities themselves. But just the amount of power being used kind of scars some of the land and turns some of the cities to dust. Once vibrant forests to burning craters and shit like that. And I'm thinking over time, maybe people get kind of tired of the gods' bullshit.
You know who's going to watch out for that burned crater? The Great Gold Worm.
Shut up.
That's kind of his MO.
Lash, you said on yours, you became the new Bahamut, and then you and Faz took down Bane?
So not so much became the new Bahamut as killed Bahamut and took his godly mantle.
No big deal.
As you do, that's that standard Tuesday sort of thing.
I mean, if you spit on somebody, that's kind of the ultimate insult.
Well, Lash was unstable to begin with, right?
Yeah. A little bit.
How do I follow this?
So, based on the little summary I've got that you wrote up, it says you traveled the world writing injustices basically to anybody who sought you out, and it was one of those things where you better hope you got your fucking ducks in a row, because if you're in the wrong, there's going to be hell to pay.
The general concept is that after Lash killed Bahamut, she went off on this kind of vengeance quest because she was deeply angry at what the gods had put the group through and was dissatisfied at the resolution there. But having the mantle of the god of justice basically changes her from a being kind of capricious, angry, murderous creature into more of a goddess of vengeance.
Okay.
And
So basically the Raven Queen.
And justice. Well, Raven Queen is more death, right? So
that's
she
true.
becomes more, and over time she becomes this icon for getting wrongs righted. But also a kind of be careful what you wish for sort of thing.
So you said one of the kind of symbols of you as a deity now was the red coin with a hook on one side and the mailed fist choking a dragon on the other side?
Yeah, the red fist and the dragon kind of fighting, because that's what kind of spawned this whole thing to begin with. Also the hook, because I thought that was a great thing that had happened, and I wanted to incorporate that going forward.
Nice. Okay. So one of the things I kind of saw with Lash was after the warring of the deities, that she sort of started getting a lot of calls about people being generally pissed off with the gods and seeking you to pass judgment on them. And since you had some allies to call on, I kind of saw it as maybe over time you end up sort of being like a god assassin and sort of just kind of capturing their little tokens as trophies, which even if you didn't use them over time, it would kind of give you a lot of power.
So that might for the portfolio of justice and retribution, she wouldn't keep them as trophies so much as keep them as in reserve until someone was able to take them justly or earn them.
See, I was originally imagining something like Maestro from the Incredible Hulk comics, where he's got all these fetishes that he's taken off the heroes that he's killed, like Thor's hammer, Captain America's shield, and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, so if she kept that kind of evil assassin bent, absolutely. But I'm thinking that the Bahamut mantle changes her to be more lawful neutral than neutral evil.
No, I think that's way cooler than what I was initially thinking, that she's trying to hold them for people who would uphold
the tenets of that god. Yeah.
Right. That's pretty neat.
If you can lift Mjolnir, then you're worthy of being
Yes,
the next.
exactly.
Mike killed Bahamut.
It's ironic how killing Bahamut brought out the best in Lash.
So that's exactly the point, right?
How drunk were you, Bobby?
I left the conversation then.
That's true. He was.
That's true.
No.
He killed the Raven Queen, then I left, and then he killed
Because
Bahamut.
remember,
Apparently,
he was the sleeping god IRL.
Lash went a little crazy. Bahamut was all weak and stuff, so she killed Bahamut, tried to save Melora, and then teamed up with the spiritual hero we'll talk at some point, Foz, at the new Raven Queen in our religion, and brought down Bane.
all right. Cora was cool with all of that.
It's all in the Google Doc,
Okay.
which is approaching 12 pages.
Yeah, I tried to trim it down on my end for quick summary stuff, but see how well that goes. So Foz, as the new Raven Queen, I think you were pretty pissed off about the way things went, and kind of, hey, there's no real justice in the world. So I think you raptured all the changelings. Was it?
So what happens is
What the fuck?
Sigil takes the Raven Queen's crown and delivers it to Foz, thinking that she would probably be a pretty decent next Raven Queen. And the first soul that Foz has to judge is that of the former Raven Queen,
Because they're queued up.
She would have. Yeah, exactly. They form an orderly line. So yeah, Foz judges the soul of her former god and finds it to be wanting, and finds hears and essentially sees what happens to Gosrin, and is a little incensed at the injustice. So yeah, Foz is a little incensed, similarly to the way Lash was. Next up, she has to judge the god of justice, who has been freshly murdered, and she can't help but realize that Gosrin's soul isn't there. And at this point, Foz is more than slightly distraught. Gosrin was basically her moral compass when she didn't trust her own sort of thing, and she thought that he was one of the more pure souls that she had ever met. And the fact that he was denied the release of death when these useless, crappy, shitty gods were given sort of that release and that comfort of death drove her slightly insane, and she doesn't really... She thinks that living for these gods, as basically most mortals do, is cruel and torturous, and so she reaps the soul of every living changeling.
And you helped Lash kill Bane.
Cora
right?
was very glad to be in Legend right now.
Sorry, Chris?
I said you helped Lash to kill Bane.
Yeah, would have hunted down Bane with Lash, and then probably gone their separate ways.
Okay.
And just to be clear, I don't think that Bane did anything, but he didn't help, and we were mad.
He was a convenient target.
Says the god of justice.
Well, not yet, right? Because at first she's
True.
mad and angry.
It didn't assert itself
Right.
yet, yeah. You're more vengeance at that point.
Well, and they're probably still very mortal, with all of the sort of sins that brings with it.
Yeah. So, Renee, you said Eska went back to the monastery, spread the story of the Wreckateers and the battles against the gods. Let's see, then you kind of devoted your life to providing aid to anybody who needed it?
Pretty much. Whatever I wrote there earlier. I've
I've
done a
eaten
lot
a
of things
food.
since then.
I have drank a liquid.
I just did whatever. I mean,
Koro, you went back to Axis and you became a magic teacher at Gosrin's old school for the Faceless Children, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure if it was for the faceless children. I think it was just
Well, I think it was the school that was originally established for the faceless children, but I'm sure
The guys in school was all orphans. Lash's school.
yeah, it was the orphan school.
That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, sorry, those names became interchangeable at some point. Everybody has faceless children.
Yeah, Cora became a teacher at that school in memory of Gosrin, and began to spread the word of Gosrin as a god, as a benevolent god.
Okay,
Because Cora was a religious before, but
right.
saw the acts of Gosrin as godly.
Fair soon. Looks like you tried to pick up the mantle of the Wreckateers and sort of reincarnate it with some more people.
Yeah, Fairsoon wanted to put together an adventuring guild again to just sort of like make the world a better place, and then once he got that going again, he went back to the council and Axis and tried to make it a place where anybody was welcome.
Was that guild dedicated to kicking people down holes?
Did you keep the shitty pun name? Like, did Fairsoon just eventually give in to Stockholm Syndrome?
We can't change it. It's a great name.
A new incarnation of the Wreckateers.
The Wreckateers.
The Wreckatooers.
Instead of TEE, it's just the number 2 and then RS.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like Fairsoon.
Fuck up, Chris.
The Wreckatours, Electric Tougaloo.
I can hear him seething quietly.
Politely seething.
They're renamed the Recon Tours.
Well, that's actually a good name, so.
And then it looks like Gregor traveled the world, letting them know that a new age had begun, spread the word of what really occurred.
Was it the dawning of the age of Aquarius?
Oh, okay, so basically you told people, hey, this is what really happened in Axis' founding. Humans weren't really the bad guys, and also what happened with the He Who Slumbers conflict, from what it looks like.
Yep.
So tell me more about this god in the distant stars.
I wrote up a little bit, but I don't have a ton established.
Okay.
His name is Sovereign, and he knows this hurts you, Shepherd.
He's also called the Distant God. And I'll just read you what I wrote for the document. The number of those who worship the star that speaks has grown, but their numbers are difficult to know because there are few official places of worship for the distant god. Most followers maintain personal shrines in their homes, or simply carry a talisman with them that they hold when they pray. The star that speaks domains are dreams, uncertainty, and sacrifice. Its followers believe that everything must be earned, that achievement stems from sacrifice. Those who pray to the distant god for guidance do so with the awareness that everything comes with a price.
Is he still going to be around in the future?
That was my implication, actually. I wrote up
Right.
with Fairsoon's thing was saying that along with humans, there's also a growing orc population near Axis, because if you remember, there were some orcs that wanted to take refuge.
Right.
And they don't worship Grumsh anymore, but they like the Lady in Shadows now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, so one of the I got a few things I wanted to throw out there and see what you guys thought. After a while, with people kind of getting pissed off at the gods, there's not a whole lot of uniformity in the documentation about them anymore. So their true form is sort of forgotten, and instead of you knowing that, oh, okay, so He Who Slumbers is in charge of this, and the Raven Queen is in charge of this, it's sort of, people forget that the original god really existed, and sort of pray to different aspects of them. So, like, for Lash, I threw together some different names on top of what Mike wrote, but we've got the Lady in Shadows, the Doombringer, the God Killer, the Justicar. So, somebody who feels like they've been slighted by a god, they would pray to the God Killer. And similarly, we've got a bunch of shit for Faz. Faz would be like the Raven Queen, the Berserker God, the Lady at the End of All Things, the Seeker, the Barbarian, She of Many Faces, and the Scales, because you sort of weigh somebody's actions at the end of their life. So they would pray to that for a recently deceased family member or something. So I'm thinking at this point, there are people who still have faith in stuff, but not in the gods as they would have been known 3,000 years ago.
The gods are kind of shitty.
Is that stuff people are okay with, or?
I think we might need a fourth category for this stuff. Just because
Church of Gosrin.
Well, those are just examples of what you guys are known by. Like,
Sure.
There's some other gods, and we can sort of figure out what those are as we go. But I was just kind of using those for examples.
I'm not sure if that's possible, but Koro is pretty cool with being a god.
So basically, what's happened is it's kind of disseminated into a nameless Hinduism, kind of like aspects of gods as opposed to actually
Right. And at this point, it's been so
literal
long and it's
individuals.
spread and changed names across so many places that you could have three people all praying to, three different things without realizing that they actually focus in on the same. They are the same person in charge of all those things.
I like this, and I get what you're going at.
It's not dedicated worship anymore. It's more like the saints, like they're all there, and depending on what you want to do, you make an appeal to the one that you believe will help you. I mean, that's the impression I'm getting.
That's kind of like the historically accurate, like how the Roman pantheon functioned. You were just sort of like,
hey, carry this prayer
you had like
for
a
me.
personal god
Right.
sitting at home, but most of the time you're just like, you made an offering whenever.
Right, you weren't devoted to a specific deity.
But man, he who slumbers kept it at a very nice 73
Yeah, no, it was like a
degrees.
constant
it was pretty
21.
nice.
Humidity was never
And
too
at
bad.
what price? I don't think there was a price.
Yeah, there was a lot of souls involved.
So, Bobby.
No, we don't talk about that.
So one of the things is over time, a lot of the copies of the recollections of the battle against He Who Slumbers and stuff, those have either been lost or ruined over time, that sort of thing. There's probably very few copies of any of those books around, but
But Ion preserved it, right? Ion preserved it because that was part of the deal.
there may be a hidden library somewhere or a couple that have stuff, but
Why was it hidden? That was her goddamn job.
hold on, I'm getting to something. You made me forget what it was. So, yeah, regardless of whether that part is remembered or not, one of the things that seems to have spread far and wide is the moral of the story got twisted a little bit, but pretty much everywhere there is a superstition that you do not pray for good weather.
I love that idea.
I like that.
That is the best
I like
thing.
that. That's the
That's
idea
awesome.
that got brought across from us with the.
If you're in a drought, you don't pray for rain. What you pray for is the strength to endure the drought, because that won't bring ruin upon your house or your town. But praying for rain is playing with elements beyond your control, sort of thing.
Wow, we wanted to make the world a better place, and we just made it a more cynical place.
Right.
That's what it
Cynical is
sounds
better.
like.
When it says to not pray for rain, does it also say do not sacrifice children?
No, that's not in there at all. Not even in fine print.
It's actually just a footnote.
Guys,
There
we
are
didn't
some
do
stories
shit.
of if you abuse an orphan child that.
The threefold rule.
Mm-hmm.
So, another thing I was going to say is I was thinking of nobody was ever able to get to Melora's totem. And over time, it sort of broke down, and all the magic that it contained. Hold on. No, it's actually not a terrible thing. So all the magic that it contained sort of spread out into the world. And while many of the gods died and stuff during some of the battles, their magic spread to the world. But the first place that the change was noticed is in nature. So what was normally just an ordinary grove of trees, every now and then you would have trees that would just stand up and become a roaming forest, and that could communicate with you. And some animals that previously were relatively mindless and acted only on instinct, they now became sentient and developed cultures and dialects and civilization to an extent.
Did we create Ents?
You didn't.
God, I hope not. Only thing worse than Tom Bombadil in Lord of the Rings. Oh, I went there. No, but that implies that Melora was keeping nature down, doesn't it? Because while she was alive, she kept everybody like in line or whatever.
More that it was under her control, and she was like a gardener for an entire planet.
She had its power.
Yeah.
And so, with her dead, then the power is back in nature's hand. It's less of an enlightened despotism and more of a democracy now.
Was her gardener a captain planet?
She was Captain Planet.
That's deep.
She's going to take pollution down to zero.
I'm gonna turn off my microphone now.
But yeah, so what I was sort of thinking of from a technology standpoint is, or just a population at large is, technology has advanced relatively slowly. Gunpowder is a thing now, so cannons are in some of the more well-funded keeps on some of the top of the line ships, that sort of thing. And if you are very rich and very brave, you can have a personal cannon, which is what we like to call a gun. They are known in many instances to backfire.
So are they like musket loaders or how?
It depends on where you go. The most popular version is sort of, I'm thinking like a...
Yeah, like flintlock or wheellock stuff.
Oh, yeah.
God, what were they called?
Blunderbuss, arquebus,
Succubus.
I'm thinking super long gun that takes like a minute and a half to load. Unless you got a really good one or you've been using it for a while, then you can probably get one loaded a lot quicker. Like if you've used it long enough for it to be second nature to you, then that's not going to apply to you. But if you just gave somebody a gun, it would... First off, they'd be like, nope, you take it. That's a fucking bomb. I don't want it. Thanks. That's about where the technology is. And one of the things I was thinking of, the death of many of the gods has led to their energies sort of seeping into pretty much everything in kind of a raw form. So for some people, it manifests way later in life. Some folks can make their fingers glow. Some people can shoot fireballs out of their hands. Like it definitely varies between people. But I was thinking something like that.
I think we have enough problems with mages that I don't want to see more of them.
Well, see...
Fuck it, I was gonna do barbarian, now I'm gonna be a mage.
Oh, barbarian.
Not everybody's gonna be capable of wielding magic offensively. Like some people, like I said, the extent of your ability is like your index finger glows in the dark and you can see slightly better.
What about defensively? Can you like...
Yeah, I want to be the mage who can like heal any damage dealt out, so I can just train the guy around.
You want to be Wolverine?
They call that a cleric.
Guys kill everybody else, and then you come over and he's still trying to kill me.
In a
but
court
I'm
case,
fine.
I want to wield magic defensively. Can I do that?
Right up until the first objection.
Overruled.
Yep. My name is Phoenix Wright.
I think going that direction, you wind up having to address certain questions, like Dragon Age level questions. If magic just shows up, is there a tower? Is everyone required to go to the tower? Yeah, that sort of thing.
Man, in the most recent Dragon Age game, everybody was fucking dicks.
That's Dragon Age in a nutshell.
I was really hoping you were going to say Kung Fu Fighting.
-10 because you're a mage. Okay, yeah. Screw you
Well,
too.
how about we do it instead to where it's at least a lot more common? Because, I mean, in the 4E campaign, it was super new and maybe one out of every, couple thousand people had it. I'd say maybe it's more common, but still it varies from person to person. So
You could get to the part where basically anyone could learn magic, but it's a devoted study now.
right,
And they've got to reach out and grab sort of that magical power as
yeah,
opposed
take it by
to
the haunches.
that's a way to grab a thing, but I'm not sure you'd be getting magic from it so much as receiving the tail, so to speak.
It's a shitty end of a deal.
Yeah.
Man, Andrew, it looks like you and Adam are both in the same room.
We are.
It does. If you are, then I'm going to come high five you.
Okay, does anyone have anything they want to add or any objections or anything to this sort of rough idea of how the world is? We're definitely going to flesh it out a whole lot more as we play. This is just sort of like a small baseline kind of...
There is even a move for that called Spout Lore.
Do orcs exist?
Yes.
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 Do elves exist?
Yes.
No. They were too delicious.
Orcs exist.
That sucks for Koro.
Dragonborn exist. We can find a way. I don't think orcs and Dragonborn are in the race choices, but if you want to be one of those, we can figure out a perk for you later based on the class you pick.
I do not want to be a Dragonborn because the last one that I knew died.
That's different. That's a different character. Okay, so based on the lack of objections, I'm going to say let's go with that. Let's move over to character creation.
That D&D podcast is released under Creative Commons 2.0, Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivative License. Tell your friends about us, but don't chop out the good stuff, and don't sell our work. The intro music is The Last Ones by Jahzzar, that's Jahzzar. It can be found at the Free Music Archive. The outro music is Kopika, Kopeika, by Et, that's ET_, and can also be found at the Free Music Archive. All other copyrighted content is owned by their associated copyright holder.